Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the December Lunch and Learn. We're really excited today to have Julia with us. Some of you may have participated in past Lunch and Learns that we have had with Julia. She's kind of a regular Lunch and Learn gal for us, always providing such valuable tips and suggestions and advice for small business owners. Now, Julia is the founder of Successful and Smart Business Coaching, and she loves to help empower small business owners. And you recently moved, didn't you? You're up in Barrie now, is that correct?
We're 45 minutes north of Barrie. We're on Lake Couchiching.
Okay, so a little further up there. How's the snow levels right now? Because I know that area got hit hard.
Yeah, this area is pretty rough, but I'll tell you, it for me, I use London, Ontario as the comparison. My
Okay.
family's in London. I think London is crazy. So up north, I'm like, yeah, okay, looks about the same. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was, yeah, we had to, it's rough. We use tow trucks to,
Oh, hello. We have a guest. We have our smallest participant. Awesome. All right. So, Julia, today's Lunch and Learn with Julia is called Setting Up Time Budgets for a Productive 2025. We all want to hit the ground running in January, don't we? We want to just be able to front load all of our sales and all that good stuff to help us be as productive and as successful as we can. So she's going to talk about setting up time budgets for a productive 2025, teaching us some effective tips and tricks and strategies for budgeting our time and managing our energy, which of course we know is limited, and we have to be careful how much of that we give away for non ROI type tasks. So I'm going to get Julia to take it away from now. Please feel free to add in more information about yourself, Julia, and your business, and then we can get into the presentation. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A. Or I guess, Julia, would it be okay if people ask questions throughout your presentation?
if we can have it in the chat, if that's okay, if everyone
Yes,
is
I
okay
can
with muting
manage the chat
themselves.
for you if you
Okay.
like. I can watch that. Awesome. And then at the end, we'll talk about how you can continue to, or how you can work with Julia after this session. So welcome and go for it.
Thank you, Christine. As always, I will thank you and praise you. It takes a ridiculous amount of energy to do what you do, and you're so consistent with it. I have to applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all you amazing, amazing ladies. However you identify yourself, for showing up today. You could have been anywhere at this time. You could have been doing anything, but you chosen to be here. And I absolutely am thrilled to have you here. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'll explain the things that I ask you to do. I'll explain the science behind that along the way. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Now, here's the thing. We're going to take 3 deep breaths with loud exhales. Like I'm talking about. There are a couple of reasons for that. The first is we're going to be hitting our reset button for the body so that it can jump into the present. Right now, the things that you've left, the things that you have to do, the things that are going on are still flooding your mind. So while you're listening to me and you're trying to be here, your mind is also pulling you in different directions. You also have other things that are going on. It's very, very human. So the breath interrupts and it brings you to the present. The second thing is deep exhales communicate to the system, your parasympathetic system, to relax. Have you noticed when you subconsciously loudly exhale? You know, there's sometimes when you're thinking about something or something happens and you sigh, but you don't even realize that you sighed until you heard that exhale and it's loud. There's a reason for that. That's what the body's asking for. That's what the body needs. And that's what helps it release. So when we do that 3 times, it's a neat trick to let the body relax, let the mind come here and signal to the brain that we're somewhere else. We're doing something else for a moment. While we're doing that, I want you to close that proverbial door, the one that has what you're going to be doing, what you need to do, what is waiting for you. Give yourself this 1 hour and understand that what is bothering you will still be there. What you need to do will still be there. What has happened has already happened. So you're really not losing out on anything by giving yourself this time. Agreed? Yeah. So let's start off with those 3 deep breaths. And I'm glad you're on mute because then you don't have to feel self-conscious or anything. We're going to do that first breath in, loud exhale. Come on, do yourself that big favor and take that next deep breath in. Deep, deep, deep. Loud exhale. And one more time. Deep breath in, as deep as you can go, and loud exhale. Okay, shake it off a little bit. If you did it right, you should feel a little bit warmer. You should feel a little bit changed. Oh, welcome to the world. All right. The next thing we're going to do is if you use paper and pen, this is the time to do it. If you use a writing pad, I don't care what you use, you're just gonna just dump everything that is on your mind right now without thinking about it. I'm gonna give you a minute to just write down everything that's on your mind. So please go ahead and do so. Don't think about it, just write down everything that's on your mind.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I'll give you a few more moments to just do that dump. Continue to just write down what's on there. And again, this is another way of freeing up your mind so that you can be present. We're going to be talking about time budgets and planning and all of that good stuff. And the reality is, none of that works when you have mental baggage. So these are some of the ways to dump them and clear that space so that we can be effective. Okay, so if you did the assignment, you wrote down a whole bunch of stuff. Now, a lot of you are on mute, you don't have your video on, and that's okay. What I will ask you to do is use your reaction buttons so that I can know that you're there, or you've heard me, or you've understood, or you're conscious. Amazing. Yes, amazing. So if you can just let me know somehow, and that's going to really help me out, because this is what I'm going to ask you to do next. I'm going to ask you to look at everything that you wrote down, and you're going to put it in one of 2 buckets. One is worry, and one is concern. Now listen to my explanation. I will let you know that I often have to repeat this about 3 times. And it's just because of how we process information. A concern, I will give you an example. The weather network says that it's going to be a heavy snow day. So you may be concerned that it's going to be a heavy snow day. That may mean that, kids have to stay home, or you may be snowed in. It's a concern because of what the weather will be like. Worry is if you know that it's going to be a heavy snow day and you're worried that your car's not going to make it because you've been having problems with your vehicle. There are parts of it that needed to be fixed and it just can't take it, and you're not sure it's going to make it. So the difference is, with one, it's out of your control. You may be concerned about it, but there's really nothing you can do about it. It's not like you can say weather, behave, or whatever. With the other, you may be worried about it, but to a large extent, there's stuff you can do. So you can fix your car, you can ask for a ride, you can take the bus, you can rearrange the schedule. There's something you can do. Okay? If you got that, can I see a thumbs up?
So we basically have our list that we made, our laundry list that we dumped out earlier. And you want us to take that list and break it into the 2 I can control, I can't control categories.
Correct. Now you will struggle with some of them because they fit into either or. You must make a choice. Is it a concern out of your hands, or is this a worry within your something within your hands?
Could I ask you, for the person who came in after your initial instruction, to repeat that first instruction for making the list?
Yes. So the very first instruction is everything that's on your mind, without thinking about it, without overthinking it, dump it on pen and paper or any sort of writing pad, whatever it is that you use. Dump those thoughts without thinking about them. Whatever comes to mind, all of it, just bleh, vomit it out. And then the second thing you're going to do is put it in one of two buckets. Concern. I am concerned that I may not have enough money to buy a house. Worry. I am concerned I may not have enough money to buy a house. Well, you get to decide, is that a concern or is that a worry? Is it completely out of my hands or is there something that I can do? So please go ahead and do that for a few moments. So, taking a look at what you've done, what are you noticing? If one or two or three of you would love to share, you can share in the chat or you can audibly speak up. I'd love to know. What are you seeing? Look at all of you speaking all at once. My goodness, I don't know what to do about it. No, really, I can't be the only one here who's speaking. Do share your thoughts. So you put them in concern or you put them in worry. What are you noticing?
I think a lot of it I can say is concern, but I guess very few things are that are not in your control, that are kind of natural.
That's what you're noticing, eh? So most of it is going in concern. Interesting.
That's interesting that you should say most of their things are going into the concern. I agree that a lot of the worry and anxiety that I wrote down and the things that I want to do and accomplish, when I wrote them down and then I went to move them over, I'm like, oh, but wait a second. Yes, it is of a concern, but I know how I can fix it. So I don't know if I'm going one step ahead of myself and going into like solution mode. I tend to do that a lot. Stripping the emotion away and going, nope, I could fix that. Nope, I
So
could.
it's worry. So you're finding most of your stuff is on the worry end, right?
Well, yes, when I put it on paper, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's logical. That's right. Okay, I can hire someone. I can, whatever. Like I can. There is a solution to that.
Yes.
In my brain, it doesn't feel that way.
Right.
But I think how to fix it, that becomes maybe
Something
sometimes,
else, right?
yeah, can't do or, overwhelmed. And then you just have to look at outsourcing some stuff and it can't be easy sometimes, but then start kind of feeling, can't do.
So for those things, are they in the concern or are they in the worry?
Well, then it becomes kind of a mixture,
No, gotta pick one.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, the reason why I force you to pick one is because a lot of what we think, a lot of what we do lies in the in-between. And ladies, I'll tell you this, pain and confusion shows up in gray areas. When we don't make decisions or when we don't decide or when we don't take stands, we cause ourselves so much pain. It's so unnecessary. And that's because a lot of times we're waiting for someone to come make the decision for us.
Exactly. So, or guidance.
Yes. Yet when you look within our own households, boy, the things that we're able to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think majority of them are concerns. I like Christine said, I think when I focus on the worry, then there has to be problem solving of some kind.
And concern is, there's nothing I can do about it. It's like the weather's, it's going to snow, it's going to snow. All right. Okay. So, and then here we have all worries for me. Thank you. That's another share. Okay. Here's the next thing. Everything that you put in concern, meaning it's not in your hands, it's not in your control, cross it all out. Hey, listen, there's nothing you can do about it. Right? You said so yourself. Gotta let it go now. Unless there is something you can do about it, then you gotta move it over to worry. If not, cross it out. So go ahead and do all that. Now those with their cameras off and I can't see your faces, are you able to give me some reactions just to let me know that you're here? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Did we cross out the concerns? How did we feel about that?
I moved everything to worry because then I just said, well, I can fix that. I don't know exactly how, but it can be.
That's just how it has to be. So this is the thing. It's like, if it's going to snow, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. Spending your days worried that it's going to snow does absolutely nothing to add to your life or add to whether it's going to snow or not, or add to whether it's going to snow or not. You see what I mean? So why think about it? Now, is there something else you could be doing or thinking about? That's where your energy should be going. So I'm introducing these little concepts so that we'll put them together in our time budgets and use our time and energy effectively. Starting with moving forward, even as you think about the things that are going to be happening, with holidays, whether you celebrate them or not, whether you have a holiday or not, there are things that are going to concern you. How some family members behave, how some people are, how some things make you feel. Regardless of how it makes you feel, if there's absolutely nothing you can do about that, that is called concern. You've got to scratch that out. Now, if you're worried about how it'll make you feel, that is called worry. Start creating a plan about what you will do with that. Do you see the difference? So we're going to now look at my concept of big rocks and little rocks. The things that you wrote down that are on your worry side, we're going to put them in the categories of big rocks and little rocks. Big rocks are the ones that take tremendous energy from you. They require tremendous energy or time or expense. So it could be something that is like, I'll give you a work-related example and a home-related example. It could be doing laundry. For one person, that could just be a ton of energy required, just the thought of doing laundry. But for someone else, it could be automated and they don't care, they don't think about it, they don't care. To one person, that's a big rock. For work, picking up your phone or going online or asking someone to buy from you, asking 5 people a day to buy from you could be a big rock. Maybe because of time, maybe because of energy. A lot of times it's energy. People say they need money or time to do this, but they don't realize that they can do it in less than 5 minutes if they really put their mind to it. Mostly it's an energy thing. You're like, oh my God, who am I gonna call? Where do I start? They're gonna say no. What am I gonna do if they don't respond? By the time you're done, you're ready to go to sleep. So that would be like a work example. Or making that call and hiring the help that you need and saying, you know what, I don't have a great handle on social media. I don't even know why I'm playing around with this. I just need to speak with Christine,
Mm-hmm.
So like look at it, like those are the big rocks. The little rocks are the things that are next to nothing, time, money, energy, meaning they don't expend from you. You can do them like this, or you know where you can fit them in. They're the things that you can do when you have a bit of time. So as an example, if I am doing something that doesn't require me to be on the phone or on the computer, that's when I throw in a load of laundry. That to me is a little rock. It's something that's important that has to be done, but it's not taking away from me. A little rock with in my business would be reaching out, say, and asking for the business. I love it. It never used to always be like that. I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing sales since I was 17. But now it's different. It's different. I think of all the people who have reached out to me at the right time, offering me their services for things that I needed, and how I thank God for it. So that's how I see myself as an answer to someone's prayer. So that's a little rock to me. So I want you to look at your list and look at it in terms of big rocks and little rocks and divvy up. Now, again, I'm asking you to stay away from the gray areas. You may be like, that's a big, small. I don't care if you crash up your big rock and turn it into small, whatever you need to do. Just, we have big rocks, we have small rocks. So I'll give you a few moments to divvy up your list.
Sorry, Julia, can you define what a big rock would be like?
Yes. So big rock is like big time, money, or energy expenditure on your part. And if you'd like to physically or audibly share or share in the chat, let me know what's coming up for you. Where are they ending up? Big, small, bunch?
Julia, could you please repeat yourself because I had you cut off. What is the big rock?
Yeah, so the big rock are the things that take a lot of your time, money, or energy, or a combination of them.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yes, yes. And whatever that is to you. Okay, deep breath in and out. What are we discovering?
And for me, based on like the worries and stuff, they're all big rocks.
They're all big rocks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
Slightly less stressed, I guess, because seeing that it is all things that do take a lot of time, energy, and money. So I'm not totally as stuck as I feel, I guess. Seeing it.
Some sort of perspective?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful way of looking at it. I love that. Then it's less easier to beat yourself up, right? Like if you don't get something done or you don't get it as fast as you thought you should.
It's kind of like you see the mountain instead of not knowing how big the mountain actually is.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can relate to that. I would judge myself and then I'll take a look back. I'll be like, oh, are you trying to do Mount Everest in a day? I see here someone's a combination of mainly medium and small rocks. Okay, okay. Diana, are you comfortable to share more with us?
Hi, yeah. I mean, the medium are things that I just have to do. Everything that I had listed was a worry. So, yeah, I mean, there's small things that just I need to find time to do, the small ones,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out. And the medium ones are just, yeah, they're just more things around the holidays. Like, I need to get gifts to people, a certain group of people, and I need to prepare those, and just things like that where I know what I need to do. I just have to sit down and do it.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So time would be the pesky matter for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing. One other? Okay. So when we're looking at our big rocks, so remember we're looking at what is we have, we can do, have to do, it's all within that bucket. And then we've decided they're big rocks and they're small rocks. The idea is to look at it and then ask yourself, what what is the visible timeline around these big rocks or the small rocks? So start looking at it in terms of just how much time or energy or effort will be required, just looking at like what is needed here. Then think about it in terms of time. So if maybe I'll say from a business perspective, if maybe you want to make a certain amount of money before the end of the year, well, what time is required for this, like just logically, not in the dream state, because when we're dreaming or in our imagination we get a lot done in a short amount of time. In reality, it doesn't really work that way. Things usually take twice as long and they're twice as hard, and we're often not as consistent as we could be. So just realistically looking at your big, medium, and small rocks, just put some times around them. Like, really, how long will it take to take care of that small rock? How long will it take to take care of that big rock? And just put some times around them without thinking about when or where or how you're going to do it. Just throw in some times around them. How long will it take you to do what? So now what we're going to do, hopefully, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Christine, if you can break up everybody into groups, minus me. I think one group will have one person more. And what we're going to do is everybody will just share for about a minute or so about what they're discovering with their the time, putting on the time in there. So we're looking at, yeah.
So I'm going to open up 3 breakout rooms.
Sweet. All right. So
and the instructions then are?
Yeah, just everybody's sharing for about a minute or so. We'll assign about, how many are we? We'll assign about 5 minutes, and everyone will share for about a minute what's coming up for them with imposing time, imposing with putting times on the big rocks and little rocks.
Okay, so we're just going to share what our list is, and then with those items, we're going to share the time frame that we think it will take to
Or
accomplish
even
that.
what's coming up for them. Sometimes people are like, I'm having a really hard time with this, or others are like, oh my gosh, everything here seems to be like 5 minutes, and others are like, yeah, this will take a year. So
Yeah.
it's just sharing what's coming up. It's sharing what's coming up for you. So I'll give it 5 minutes. So we're looking at 12:35. We'll be back at 12:40.
Okay, so what's going to happen is, because you're a participant, it's going to put you into a room. Just leave the room if you want to come back to the main, Or before we go, maybe I make you co-host and maybe you won't go into a room. I don't know.
I wonder.
Okay, so let me just stop that for 1 second. I'm just going to make you a co-host and see what happens. If it puts you into the room or not. It might still put you into the room. Okay, Julia, co-host. Okay. All right. I'm gonna open up the breakout rooms. So enjoy your discussion, ladies. Okay, so Julia, it did put you into a room. So you'll just have to leave the room, okay? And then I'll go into that room.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so you're back. You're here. I'm gonna go into room 2.
Sounds good.
Do you want me to stay out so you can pop into the rooms? What was
No,
your
please,
plan on
go
that?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
you know. Oh,
Oh, sorry, Rashna.
No worries.
Rashna had some technical difficulties and just joined us in our group with like 5 seconds to go. And she was introducing herself, and then we got brought back here.
Oh,
Yeah, that's been my biggest concern and worry since we started our Zoom call is the technical problems that I'm having.
I had that last time. No,
Yeah.
I kind of figured it out. I have to go on the main. It just wouldn't let me, I'm on the lower level and it just wouldn't let me log in from my cell phone. So I have
Oh,
to be either on laptop or iPad.
okay.
interesting. So you found a solution.
There you go.
It's
Took me a while.
no longer a worry or a concern.
Nope.
There you go. I can do it.
So how was your breakout session?
Good. Are you asking me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's good actually. We just shared what our worries were, and then going forward, if I had made a plan,
Oh, you made a plan. Awesome.
I'm working on it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So then we'll try to follow that. Hopefully things will be better, but again, comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at the times that would be required around your big rocks and little rocks, what were you noticing?
I think if you break it down, the big rocks as well, it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to spend a little more time on it.
Okay. Okay. And anyone else like to share? What were you noticing with putting time around the big rocks and the little rocks?
Sure.
Nice.
So like I said, like all of them were kind of big rocks for me. So putting times around it is like helpful to be able to see a bit more. And one of my concerns was just like generating more income for me and my little human.
Mhm.
Am I thinking about 3 weeks? If I can even dedicate an hour a day to that, in 3 weeks I can pretty easily generate more money. It's just that doing the hour a day. And then one is just being a more interactive mother to her as she's like developing and stuff. And that is more like a 2-month timeline. Well, like a forever timeline, but like a
Yeah.
like it turning into a small rock of like, okay, now I'm more in the flow of it and it's not so much learning and effort.
That's right.
So it's kind of helpful to see it.
That's right. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Anyone else like to share? I'm going for the 3. Or even in the chat for those who have decided they're not able to turn on the camera.
Yeah, I found that with writing it out, my big rocks, they're big rocks because I procrastinate them. And it's something that I struggle to make, like parts of my business, like social media, that I struggle to make myself do. But writing down the times with it would be like 4 hours a month and I could be done for the month. Or like a few hours networking at one event a month. And seeing it on paper like that, it's really not a huge commitment. So it does make it seem a lot more attainable. And I realize it's me procrastinating is why it's now become a big rock. So that was helpful.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. Because we're going to now do some planning. So when you look at your big rocks and your little rocks, one thing that you're going to pick up is that I'm always going to force you to make a decision. I'd like you to pick up to 3 big rocks. And then again, look at the time to decide about your little rocks. But I'd like you to pick up to 3 big rocks that you'd like to work on. You will start now. So I believe in ramping up, okay? I don't believe in saying I'm going to accomplish this in 3 months and then starting at the start of 3 months. I believe in saying I'm going to accomplish this in 3 months and starting before. So like starting now, because it takes time to build up psyche and momentum and commitment. So whatever it is that we're starting to plan now, you're going to start working it now. But really, we're going to make a plan for January, February, and March. So I'd like you to pick 3 big rocks, and up to 3 big rocks. Maybe it's just one, okay? Like, again, please look at the time around the rock and just be realistic. Forget about what it should look like, what you think it should be, what people say. Forget about social media. Forget about any business guru or coach who said that you can do XYZ in this amount of time. And just look at your big rocks and the time that it takes, and then make that judgment for yourself. What can you feasibly do that you want to do by March 31st, 2025? So pick up to 3 big rocks. And then the little rocks, I'll leave that up to you because they're little. Little rocks are supposed to be the thing which you don't want to get up and get the sock off the floor because it's time and energy, but really it's a little rock. Just get up and get it, like that kind of little rock. Once you have what you'd like to work on for the first, 3 months in 2025, please give me a thumbs up or a heart or any kind of reaction. And I'd like to see that, hopefully from all of you. Awesome. Thank you, Trish. Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. How's everyone else doing? Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, I'll give a few more moments. Now, for those who are done, and actually for everyone else, you might as well go ahead and do this. You're going to pull up the calendar that you use, and if you've never used the calendar, start making friends with one. I use both the physical calendar and my phone, but I'll tell you, I'm nothing without my electronic calendar. And I'd like you to look at your big rocks and your little rocks. And I want you to do this next. Think about your energy levels and where you are right now and what you can physically do, and start plugging in work from your big rocks and your little rocks into your calendar. While you do this, I want you to think about your energy levels. If your energy level is at a 4, do not give yourself a 6-hour project every day. However, if your big rock is demanding hundreds of hours, then look at it realistically and ask yourself what of that you can do within 3 months. So again, that's what we're doing here. We're making smart decisions that will give us more yeses and completions than not. Does that make sense? So start plugging into your calendar, and you're going to start doing this work now because it's going to take some time to ramp up, and you're going to have to go through some of your resistances and excuses and things. But what we want is that by the time January is rolling around, you've already started to build some body memory, so that when you tell yourself, I have to sit down and do my social media, it's not a, I don't know where to start.
If I could just make one suggestion,
Yeah.
stop calling it social media and call it
Mhm.
marketing.
Nice.
When we call it marketing, I find that my students, it legitimizes it and takes it up a notch, right?
Yes.
It is your marketing time. Set aside how much time should you market your business, right? How much time in a week, in a day should you be marketing? Sorry.
No, that's perfection. And honestly, if you find yourself really struggling with that, then go speak with Christine. Like, just make a decision is really the key thing. If you find something is just not working for you, something that you need to do, you ask yourself, do I have the time, energy, and money to learn this skill set? Or should I have someone else do it? So
Calendar.
again, it's making decisions.
I'm printing out my calendar right now, Julia, because I've been putting off this task for about a month, and I'm doing it right now while we're on
That's
this
it.
call.
Get it done. That's exactly how I am. I'm like, let's just take this opportunity and do this. Especially when you have things like babies trying to crawl around the house at the same time, and you're the one who's principally responsible for them. Yeah. So plug it in, and plug it in with love. Don't look at it as, oh, this is what I have to do. This is what you get to do. This is what you get to do. This is the life you've chosen. And these are the actions that you've chosen to better your life. So it's really exciting. These are not concerns, things that are out of your scope of ability. These are all things that you can do. So it's amazing.
Does anybody else color code their calendars?
Oh, my friend, can I show you my, can I show you, let me see if I can show you.
I'm really old school, if you can believe it or not. When it comes to the calendar, I like to print it out. When it
Yeah.
comes to notes, I like to handwrite, and I don't know, something about touching it and feeling it and crossing it off is.
Agreed. It's agreed. Let me pull it. Yeah. Agreed.
What system do you use? Is it Trello?
No, I love technology, but I find that those different software become an excuse for me to not use them, but to learn them. And then that takes time.
Yeah.
And by the time I'm done, I didn't really get to do what I wanted to do. So I am the put it in the calendar and automate the task and set up all sorts of things around me that force me to do it. So for example, if I say that I'm going to be doing laundry at 3 p.m. on Tuesday because I know that that's the time I can do it. Well, in the morning, I put a basket of dirty clothes in front of me in a way that I can't miss out on it until I automate the behavior. So it's doing the things to help me get there in the very
It
beginning.
reminds me of my fitness instructor who says, go to bed wearing your workout gear.
Yeah, and get up and
at the end of your bed, your socks and shoes are there. So
That's
you
it.
just
That's exactly it. I would put my running shoes out there. I would just do things to trick me. So until it became automated. Yeah. Yeah. And then with Siobhan, just to what you were saying about the interaction, what I used to do with my child, or I still do, is I look at, milestones are, I don't go crazy for them. I don't go crazy over them, but I use them to plan activities. So that's what I used to do. I would look and say, okay, so these are the things we'll be working on for the month. And then, the day would go by and maybe I'd be like, okay, we didn't read as many books as I would have liked today. So tomorrow I'll just make sure to read 2 new books. So that's how I used to plug in the activities for him as we would go. And then at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, he threw the book, but whatever. I did bring out the 2 books, and then I'd be like, okay, so We didn't really sing a lot today, so I'm gonna make sure like that, and then just making iterations each evening, basically. Like, how did today go? What would I like to see more of? Let's see what we can inject the next day. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's helpful at all, but that's what I've been doing with him.
No, that's super helpful. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. So, how's everyone feeling? For those who've got their cameras off, maybe you'd like to speak up or give me some reactions. And for those who don't, maybe you'd like to share. Oh, thank you. Would you like to share more, Trish?
Hey guys, Cheryl here.
Hi, Sharon.
I just wanted to say this is a new way of looking at things. The big rock and the small rock and the tiny rocks will always remain in my mind now when I'm looking at my big projects and small projects that I have to tackle. So thanks, Julia.
My pleasure. Was it helpful in thinking about what you accomplished? Did it make it seem doable at least a little bit?
Yeah. When you break it down like that, nothing seems impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to, like Christine was saying, I like to put a calendar, a physical calendar, and write on that calendar, even though I have my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have my physical and I
Yeah.
have my yeah.
Yeah,
And it works.
I do them both too, and my phone will set off an alarm
That's right.
when I'm ready for a meeting or something like that, so to give me a heads up. So that always helps.
That's right. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Trish, I know you were about to speak as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the tips you said for how you trick yourself, I find that very helpful because I need to do those things. So just force myself to make it a habit.
Right?
So I'm gonna start doing that more.
Yeah. And if we can start now so that by the time January rolls around, we're like knee deep in what we need to do, I think that is most helpful. Yeah.
No, thanks, Julia. It's been so helpful. Like I'm really good with my calendar in my day-to-day basis. Like I have without my calendar, I'll never make it to my meetings. And however, planning ahead, which I have put on a back burner until now. When you said, okay, put down your biggest rocks and all that. So I jotted down 3 bullet points that I have been meaning to do.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I've been able to have a better, clear view now, like how I'm going to approach this.
That's amazing. I'm so glad. I'm really, really glad. Because if we don't need that, we don't need confusion or pain, right? We just need clear paths, clarity. Yeah.
Exactly. So obviously, just like any other self-employed person starting new, like although I've been in the business for over a year now, but marketing plan has always been on my radar, which I start, stop. Like, there's never enough hours in the day to do it. But now I'm going to put it in my calendar, color code it, and then it's my reach outs, and then it's my topmost goal, which I aim to achieve before the end of the financial year, March 31st, 25.
Sweet. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
That's amazing. Oh, I could do this all day, of course, but Christine, I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, please.
Great. I just had a quick question around like time budgeting and stuff. One of the reasons I came to this call, my sister actually sent me the link to this because you have a child and you were talking about time budgeting, and I was like, oh, great. Do you have techniques you use for creating your time budget around having a baby or?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I watch, okay, so I'm a believer in planning, and as much as you can't train babies, they're babies. What I do is I watched his cues as to when he would fall asleep and whatnot, and switch my schedule around that. My husband also works from home. So for example, my baby usually sleeps from 11 to 12:30. So I knew up until 12:30 that I'd be okay on this call. So what I did is set a plan for what happens when he wakes up after that. The other thing I did is I got one of those really big playpens, and I trained, quote unquote, him from about 2 months to be really comfortable in there by himself playing with things where I can see him. And what that would do is allow me to work, or just set up appropriate type of toys. So there is no TV on. It's all just toys and boxes and safe things. And I did that so that he can grow up hearing my voice and seeing me do things and be comfortable doing his own thing. So that's what I've done. In the beginning, when I was at your stage where, you have to get up I had to get up every 2 to 3 hours to breastfeed and whatnot, I would do my social media at night. Hey, I'm up. So, I would do it at 3 because you can always schedule. I would write my emails and schedule them for 8 a.m. So they're going out the next day, making me look very productive. I was sleeping. So that's what I would do. And I would also do my newsletters, all of that stuff when he was sleeping. I would do my research and stuff like that when he was sleeping, or my planning. If he was up and I was spending time with him, then where I couldn't completely cut off thinking about my business, instead I would think about, what do I want that's going to really work for me? And what I discovered is, I was like, I am very comfortable having 2 appointments a day. And what that does is it gives me $6,000 a month, because every single appointment is $150 for me. So it was like doing math like that, where I'm like, what does scaling back look like for me? Or what does scaling up look like for me? What does time with my son look like for me? Now I'm at the place where I have a mother's helper. So I do have someone who's here with him a few hours and 3 times a day. And that's for the work that I need to focus. But still, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. But before that, it was saying, what would make you comfortable right now? I'm like, if I have one meeting a day right now, I'm good with that. So it was working in that regard.
Awesome. Okay, ladies, I just want to let you know that I'll send out a email with the recording, and I invite you to take a look at Julia's website. On her website, you will find her contact information and a contact form. And if you want to work with Julia one-on-one, she has a couple of options or way to do that. One is called Just in Time, where you book your 1-hour session with her and you pay that set fee for that session. Or you can move to more of a monthly model. So all of that information is on her homepage towards the bottom, and you can also send her an email or fill out a contact form if you'd like more information about working with her. Julia, did you want to add anything?
No, just thank you so much for giving me your time. This is awesome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. I started. Awesome, ladies. Have a wonderful day. And if I don't see you, happy holidays to all of you. Tomorrow is the last mob event of 2024. It is ChatGPT training. It's in person at Touchdown Co-working Space. For anyone who is new to our community, we always do 3 events per month, plus training. So our first event that we always do is a lunch and learn like this. Then in the 3rd week of the month, we have our in-person. If you're in the GTA, we have our in-person meetup. And then the last week of the month, we do online networking, which is super fun. It's a 90-minute like speed networking over lunch. So we've done it that way so that we can accommodate the ladies who work full-time and have side hustles. They can come and join us on their break. And you usually meet anywhere from 6 to 7 women in that networking event. And it's a great opportunity for you to practice your pitch, talk to people, hear what's going on in the outside world. Oftentimes as solopreneurs, we get siloed. So it's just a great way to open ourselves up. So always take a look at our Facebook events and mob.ca/events. Those are 2 places we always put our events, and you can register. You will only find one event on that schedule for 2025, and it's our online speed networking, because I'm working on the other stuff as we speak. And before I go on my holidays, which is just a few days off at home, I hope to have Q1 fully planned out and scheduled. So I'm putting that out there in the universe.
Yeah.
It will happen, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you. Thanks very much.
Thank
And
you.
look for the replay and Julia's contact information in the next hour or so.
Okay, happy holidays, ladies.
Thanks,
Happy
guys. That was
holidays.
happy holidays.
Good to see you all. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.